make a move and the bunny gets it.
I said, put the bunny back in the box. Why couldn't you put the bunny back in the
It's showtime.
Psychically, I'm very well endowed.
I wanna know what you're thinking. There are some things you can't hide. I wanna know what you're feeling. Tell me what's on your mind.
Oop. Hello. Hold on. There I am. All right. Sometimes YouTube's kind of being crazy with me. You'll have to give me just a minute. All right. Well, welcome to the rabbit hole. Welcome to the rabbit hole. This is Cooper from Telepathic Bunny Comics, and tonight we're going to talk a little bit about Mutiny. Anyway, what is Mutiny? Well, we're going to talk about it. Anyway, let me bring on my favorite roly-poly individual from Boston. You know him as Joker Fan on X and other places, also Creators Outlet. Welcome to the show, Will.
Captain Bly.
There you go. And our good buddy down from Florida, who does various things down there. I don't know. I might be doxing him if I say more than that. Well, you know him as Wyatt Eastman. At least that's what his moniker is going to say. But anyway, welcome to the show.
What is going on? How you guys doing?
Oh, not much. Nice Wildcat, icon there. Yep.
Oh yeah, got to keep it old school with the Wildcat since
I can't hear him for some reason.
Can't hear me?
You can't hear him?
Oh, I
can hear him. All right, there we go. All right.
I've been putting up some various Wildcat stuff here and there because ever since the Absolute Batman came out, everybody's like, "Oh my god, this is so original! This is so incredible!" I'm like, "This is Wildcat. It's literally Wildcat." He runs a gym and he fights crime and he's big and bulky. It's like he's Wildcat with a cape.
Everything old is new again. There you go. Anyway.
But if they would have actually put this kind of energy and effort into Wildcat, they would actually have a really good street level character.
Well, there you go. Yeah. They don't know. They don't know what to do with street level characters these days. Anyway, Spark 369 is here. Creators Outlet was here a little earlier, and Shadow Hunk. Grumble, 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 mutiny, mutiny, mutiny. All right. Anyway.
I love it because it's like from what we talked about versus what people are going to think it is. It's like it's like the most subversive clickbaity title. Man, it's great. I love it.
Are you accusing me of clickbait, sir?
Only the good kind. Only the good kind.
There you go. All right. Anyway, uh, all right. Well, me and you had this conversation. I've had this conversation, believe it or not, with multiple other people. I won't bring them into this in case we get canceled tonight. But anyway,
There will be no cancellations. The program will go on as advertised.
there you go. There you go. You still with us, Will, or you jumped out
Oh,
already?
I'm still here. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Anyway, when we talk about mutiny, here we are. Our corner of independent comics is not very, shall we say, copacetic right now. Is that
Cohesive,
cohesive?
logical.
Yeah. There you go.
People are not playing well together at this point.
No, they are not. We've had a bunch of people that have just picked up their toys and went home. Said I'm done playing. And that's a shame because there's some pretty really impressive creators that have kind of left this corner and decided to go do their own thing. If everybody's going out and doing their own thing, then we've kind of lost a matrix. We've lost the ability for all of us to come together and basically help each other out. And so if everybody's an island, then nobody's a nation. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And I think it. Oh, I'm sorry. No, go ahead, man.
Go ahead. Keep going. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say that I think that what we're seeing lately is that so to make it as simple as possible, I think that a lot of people are misdiagnosing the nature of the problem. And like, for example, people will point to Comicsgate constantly and say, oh, it's a customer movement. It's a customer movement. And then on the other side, you have creators who come into the movement, and first of all, that's your first mistake of first principles, because if it's a customer movement, then you can sell to the movement, but you can be a part of a movement as in you're participating, but to steer the ship, it's like it has to, and this goes back to the nature of the thing. Comicsgate is a comics culture. So if it's a culture, then it's like, yes, no one is in charge. No one is running things. It is an ecosystem, and you can sell, buy whatever in the ecosystem. And what you've seen is that creators go inside. They, if this is our perfect biodome, they've went in there and they peed in the water supply and thrown trash everywhere. So
yeah, they pretty much pulled a Stephen Baldwin and Pauly Shore on our biodome.
And oh, go ahead, man. I cut you off again. I got to let you go. That's my bad, dude.
No problem. Did I just make a biodome reference? Did I just do that? Did that just happen? Oh man.
Yeah, you did.
All
Kids,
right.
Biodoom was a movie in the 90s. Go watch it.
It's a great movie. It's so analogous for the comics industry. It's like, what was Comicsgate? Comicsgate was the cleaning crew that was going to come in, take all the trash that was everywhere, and try to rebuild a new industry. First thing we needed, and what we started with, was the critical infrastructure. When I don't mean critical in the sense of like basic infrastructure. It's that, look, if you're going to have art, you need people who critique art. That's why your boy Zach was so instrumental, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, Zach, and all these other people. Because look at media, like your greater media and movies. Like the first thing they got rid of was good critical structure. And now the movies are terrible because, art is subjective. Art is subjective, but like there are some things that are objective, such as, is it popular? Did people like it? Why didn't, if a story doesn't make sense, then you can't say that everything's subjective. It's like, no, if I don't understand it, you told it wrong.
Right. Yeah. I keep running into that where if you didn't like the comic, then you're the problem. And how is that not like what we dealt with in the mainstream?
Absolutely,
You know?
100%.
And it's like I had a conversation with you. I think it was Shadowhawk or Shadowpunk. Sorry, Shadowpunk. Got Shadowhawk on the brain. He's in the chat. But Shadowpunk one time, I was talking about a comic and that I didn't get. I didn't quite understand. And he was kind of like saying something along the lines of, well, maybe you need to go back and read it with like this. And I was like, why is that on me? Why is that on me?
Well, yeah, you have to
You know, I,
challenge assumptions for sure. I mean, you're sitting
well,
there
I
saying
mean,
like,
well, it's kind of like a Last Jedi, right? When everybody's like, that's not Luke Skywalker. I don't know what this piece of trash is, but that's not Star Wars. And everybody was saying, well, he's subverting expectations. He's like taking it to a new direction. You're just being a crybaby. The only reason why you don't enjoy it is because you're a poo-poo head that doesn't understand art. And and you see that, and that you've seen like that kind of attitude creeping into like it was in the mainstream comics, and now it's kind of crept into the indie sphere. Hold on a second. Got Cruel Barab over here, good friend of mine. Cruel Barab, sorry, Cruel Barab. All that fine and dandy, but is now officially Friday the 13th here. I have a bad feeling about this. It is Friday the 13th. Oh, no, it's tomorrow. That's tomorrow. All right. Hey there, everyone. Hey, Wookie.
Who let the fuzzball in?
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, the thing went downhill. Anyway. How do you guys do that? God, I can't do that. Anyway, I can't roll my R's either. It's a acquired thing. But anyway, what do you think, Creative's Outlet? What are you saying going on?
Oh, all the infighting and see, here's where I get us canceled. I thought like so repeat what your biodome reference was. You thought it was a what sphere?
Biosphere.
yeah, it's like it's an environment. It's a whole ecosystem. So a biosphere. It's that I don't want to like get too much into explaining because there is actually quite a bit to unpack. That's why we're kind of doing this whole thing. But no, what were you saying, man?
So it was like an ethosphere. I thought it was an Ethan sphere.
Well, it doesn't. it became that, and
it did definitely.
But this isn't to say anything about Ethan. Ethan's trying. I mean, you look at it. He was canceled. He's trying to figure out everything the best way he can. I'm going to give him the benefit of that. And so it's like, hey, I land in this group, this environment, this biodome, if you will. And he's looking around saying like, well, how do I make this work for me? Like any business person is going to. It's like, I'm a creative. I'm trying to make money. I want to grow an audience. Yes, I have my principles, and that's why these people are letting me in. So now what do I do with that? And, I think Eric July woke him up to that because it's like when you see someone trying to make a carbon copy of exactly what you're doing, you start to look and say, whoa, that's what you think this is? That's wrong. And it's like, is it wrong? That's a good question. And
I'm pretty sure I seen Biodome once. I forgot about the film though. It's forgettable. It really is forgettable.
That movie was funny. I mean, it's forgettable, but yeah,
it's funny. It's a Pauly
it's a
Shore.
very useful.
All the movies are the same.
It's a very useful analogy. Yeah, for sure.
Analogy. Well, but at its inception, what it's called, what they say it is not functionally what it is now, or at least it hasn't been for years. It's not functionally what they're saying it is, and it's like what they're saying. Eric July is is not functionally what he is either. And it seems like there's a whole lot of gaslighting going on, and nobody's like really, speaking the truth about what we're seeing. We're what they're saying it is. It's not what it is. And when I talk about mutiny, mutiny is when you're the captain of the ship has gone bonkers, and the crew says, the people that are actually guiding the ship I hate to use that analogy, but have the oars in the water and are actually moving it forward. Well, when the captain of the ship is no longer somebody you trust, then it's time to overthrow the captain, or at least start ignoring the captain and doing your own thing. And we're in a brand new area in our country right now, where we have basically thrown off the leadership paradigm that we've had my whole entire life. And it's like everything that we're doing right now is like, we've done that before. We're not doing that again. We're heading in this direction everywhere else. And so why can't we do that here and just say, you can do your thing, you can keep your customer base, and you can, fight your battles over here. This guy over here can, put out whatever level comic he wants to put out and say whatever he wants to say and keep his customer base over here. But we who want what Comicsgate was supposed to be, why can't we get together away from these two warring parties and just chart our own course? What's preventing that?
It's because we're not coalescing around the foundational principles. That's why the word mutiny is so apt. It's not like everybody's like, oh, he's going to go after EBS. These guys are going to go after Comicsgate. It's like, no, we're going to help them realign Comicsgate and say, look, what are we against? What are we for? We're against heavy-handed, terrible storytelling that starts with the conclusion and then just uses the math to connect the points to work backwards. That's one thing we're against. The other thing we're against bad customer service. We're against not listening to fans when something isn't working. It's like, hey, this isn't working. A change needs to happen. Like we know that needs to happen. And the other thing is go ahead.
Well, it's like if I don't agree with either side, if I don't like the way this person's operating and I don't like this way this person's operating, then why is it either or situation? Why is it a Republican Democrat paradigm? I mean, why is it like both and, or a what's the word? Buy something other. But why is it like just two choices here? Why do I have to?
Yeah, it's a false premise. It's like there's a multitude of ways we can go, but the thing is, and I would offer to you, is that even in major comics, they're censoring the left. There's people on the left who can't say what they really think. There's not everybody's on board with everything, and that's where I think Comicsgate had an edge, where the energy was behind them, that it was like people were like, yo, we're sick of this crap, and we're seeing it across all media. It's like you have Gamergate. It's a matter of time before there's some.
Well, there's a difference between liberal, conservative, and leftist.
Absolutely.
And and it winds up being like anybody right of Mao is winding up like in this middle area here. When you think about it, most of the incoming administration, if everybody gets in, is former Democrats.
Oh, absolutely. The liberals and the liberals and the conservatives are when they say, oh, there needs to be healing and reconciliation, they're all doing that. They're just not including the leftists, you know.
Mm-mm.
And you know, these kind of
We're
things.
just gonna wall off Portland and just do our own
You
thing.
know, well,
Wall off
just
Portland
not even
and
wall them
LA
off. Just
and
like, hey, you go over there. We creators outlet T Bunny. We're all gonna get together. We're gonna find common ground with people we can find common ground with, and we're gonna build something new. And that's what I see going forward. It's like, you know, everybody's trying to make a different thing that whispers around the edges of what everybody's trying to do. It's like, well, there's an Iron Age, well, there's a Comics Gate, there's, you know, and there's like little movements on the left too. I could name them off, but I don't know if they really want to be name checked right now. But
you
the
can't
word,
label them anything.
yeah, we don't believe in labels. We're not a thing. Like, it's not like an organizational structure. And it's like, well, okay, it's a mutiny.
That's the phrase right before they call us Nazis.
Well,
there you go. Yeah,
then that's why this whole I carefully chose the word mutiny, because it's like, we're gonna all rally together, bring everybody under one umbrella, and just take it to these authoritarian people who've infiltrated art in general, art, media, movies. It's like, you can't express yourself authentically if that is an anti-free speech, if that is an anti-American. I don't know what is. And it's like, I think all this infighting, whether it's Ripperverse, whether it's Comicsgate, whether it's Iron Age, it's like we all know who the enemy is. And it's like, we're going to fight because somebody's making crappy books. It's like, let him make his books. If people want to buy them, you don't have to support it. Yes, it's there. It exists. You know, hey, he's doing his thing. You know, like, the thing with EVS is like, I remembered when I saw that, it was interesting because around the same time as on my timeline was all the criticisms of Dune, and J.R. Tolkien read Dune. And what did he say about Dune? He said, you know, as a matter of
like it.
Yeah, he said, I'll tell you this, I don't like it, but as a matter of professional courtesy, I will not comment further. And it was like, coming from him, you're just like, ooh, sick burn.
Well,
but
he
it's
said
like,
basically, no, he basically said this is not my cup of tea. You know, this is we definitely have a different philosophy about the world, but you know, I'm not going to invalidate his art. You know, I'm not going to say I'm not going to put a value judgment on his art. It's just simply, I disagree with it. And that whole entire ability to just say, I don't really like your thing, but you have every right to make your thing. I'm just not going to participate in it, you know? And, you know, I'll give you my opinion and then I'll move on. And, it's like my friend John put out a book called Heroic Tales, and I watched a review yesterday, which is about 30 minutes of a woman just completely, totally taking a dump on it. And but I listened to her point, and I disagree with most of it, but she had every right to make her point. She had a right to, you know. And even though I'm friends with John, even though I've got the book right there and I enjoyed it. You know, I can say that, okay, she didn't like it. She had her reasons, and that's fine. And it's like that whole inflexibility, you know, we should be able to just say, you know what, I disagree with that. You know, this whole entire thing, like the Jim Jones, you know, dragging everybody to French Guiana, you know, and you know, telling everybody to drink Kool-Aid every night to prepare for the end. And then, you know, wonder what happened anyway. But what happens in any movement when you cannot say you're full of crap, you know, you might be, you know, you might be something that a whole lot of us look up to, but you're full of crap on this, you know, which is what the government, it's what our country was based on, is that we have the ability built into the whole structure of our country to say, I don't like the way this direction this place is going, and so I'm going to vote, and I'm going to change everything to change everything, which is what we just did in our election. And it's like, why? That's the only thing that works, is being able to communicate to one another and say, I disagree with that, and you can disagree with me, and yet we can still have the same goal and still work towards that same goal together. So what do you think about that, Will?
Well, I'd like to see a lot more people working together, obviously, and being supportive in the sphere. I'd also like to see some people be able to put out their books in a timely manner, but we can't have it all.
Right. Right. So,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's got to be a happy medium in there. There's got to be a happy medium in there between. Go ahead.
If these guys all had their way, Alex Ross would be drawing every book. It would come out weekly, and it would only cost $6. It's like, I mean, it'd be a hardcover, 75 pages. I mean, yeah, like if I want to list everything in Imaginary Land that I want, sure, like let's do that. Why can't you do that? I mean, the timely manner thing, I think, is a matter of, what do they say? Today's resentments are yesterday's uncommunicated expectations. It's like, what's the expectation? It's like, okay, you're the creator. Tell me when you're putting it out. And then if anything comes up, let me know. And it's like the thing about creators, and let's talk about Ethan Van Sciver. He's super far behind, but it's easy to communicate. That's in his wheelhouse. He is a showman. He is an artist. It's like every update for his delayed book, he could make an event that would grow anticipation for the comic. Like, hey, look at this page. Hey, I'm working on this, and I got this going on. I mean, he could literally.
We're getting into the weeds here. You're getting into the weeds.
Yeah, we are. But like to get to the point. The point of the matter is we need to be recentered around what our comic values are and what our common cause is. And if we want to put it all into one word, mutiny. And it's like we need to, I think, reignite a fan movement, and then you know what? We let the mutiny run. It's like if we want to service this group, this mutiny, if you will, against the mainstream, then we do that. I mean, they'll say, well, Comicsgate's already here. It's like Comicsgate is, I hate to say it, but Comicsgate sucks right now. It's like, I mean, we have people who came to Comicsgate
well, let's just say that it's not what it says it's supposed to be.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like it's so off course. It's off in the weeds, like we went just a few seconds ago. It's like they're talking about all this other stuff, and it's like this was supposed to be people who are passionate about comics and wanted to make comics. And it's like now we have everybody's an expert comic maker, and nobody has to level up. Everybody's at the pinnacle. It's like nobody can be criticized. I'm going to be the first to tell you, I'm a writer. I am an artist, but you know what? I'm new to comics. I don't know what I don't know. Right? So it's like I can try to make a thing, and that's where you see all this drama from Comicsgate comes from. It's like, oh, EVS is bashing Thomas Parnell because he didn't know how to do this and he didn't know how to do that. Well, that's why he was in Comicsgate. That's why he was there. And it's
but PTP definitely needs to be bashed.
Well, I mean, that's a sign. I mean, I use him as a great example because he is an epic example of Comicsgate. It's just, I went in here, I wanted to make a book. I don't need to learn anything. I don't need to do anything. I'm just going to put it out, and I should be at 6 figures every time. Oh, I'm going to make toys now. Do you know anything about toys? No, I'm just going to cobble something together. And it's like the whole infrastructure of Comicsgate was supposed to. It was to me. I thought it was like when I walked in, I was like, "Yo, this is like the Motown of comic books." Like, I'm going to be able to find people who can help me level up as a scriptwriter, level up as an artist. How do I figure out pages? How do I make scripts the exact way that, is great for any artist? Like, all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, nobody's doing that. It's like, where's that critical infrastructure? And it's like, the comic creators, they're like, well, you just want us to promote you. It's like, no, I would love to learn from Graham Nolan how to draw a comic book. Are you kidding me? Like, that guy's a genius. Ethan Van Sciver. Say what you want to about him. The guy knows how to draw a comic book. Now, is he going to take me 1-to-1 and sit me down and show me how to draw a comic? No, absolutely not. Unless I have a ridiculous amount of money to give him. And so the whole thing about Comicsgate was, I thought, okay, these guys are going to service this audience. They're going to teach people how to do stuff. We're going to, get together and we're going to go to war with the mainstream. And it's like, what does it become? It's become a walled garden. It's like, it's Apple. I mean, Comicsgate is Apple. It's like,
I think where we left it.
Go ahead.
I think where we left that's what it was it was supposed to be. Okay. That's what it's supposed to be. I love this comment. I say we dust off and nuke the site from orbit. It's the only way to be sure. I had to get that in. But drama farming is a hell of a drug, right? Yeah. But where we left the road and where it stopped being what it was supposed to be, or at least what it was, what they said it was supposed to be, was when we started getting names showing up, names that are on the spines of the big two, when these gentlemen started showing up, and suddenly it stopped being about brand new creators with brand new voices, maybe people that have never even sniffed publication before, but love comics, have loved it their entire life, and people like my friend Shadow Punk, who has never sniffed the mainstream, but not only did he make a comic, which is jaw-dropping, it's just incredible art-wise, but he made like a 9-minute movie that goes along with the comic, and it's like the prequel to the comic, and if you watch them both together, it's a gut punch. It's just an incredible gut punch. But this person who spent all that time developing this, and that's who I want to hear from. I want to hear about. I want to hear. At one point, people like that, people like Vonster, who never sniffed the mainstream, came up with this Monster MD, and they helped him fund it. They helped him get it to market, and it's amazing.
Be promoted like constantly. His books are so good, and he comes from Comicsgate. He came from the ground up. He came from the chats and all that. And that's the part that kind of drives me crazy. It's like, look, I get it's YouTube. You got to be entertaining. You have to have stuff that gets clicks, gets attention, gets that. It's like, okay, then, then do that. Do whatever it is that makes that work. But at the same time, don't mess with the ecosystem. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's where Comicsgate is. Like, it was growing on its own. It was fine without Ethan. It was growing without any of these guys. And it's not to say that they're bad or they did anything wrong. It's like, no, it's like you're taking it away from the original purpose, the raison d'etre, or whatever you want to call it, the fancy guys say. And I'm just saying,
French.
like,
that's French. So yeah.
But my whole point is just like lock in on, like, Comicsgate was a great infrastructure where it's like, hey, we know what a bad book is. This is why we can tell you this book is bad. We like these books. Move the Needle was a great example of that. Let's move the needle. And it's like Comicsgate serves as a function, as a fan movement. And it's like, you serve into the fan movement. You are not, like, does that make sense? It's like you're part of it, but you are not it. And it's like, I think that's where people get it messed up, where EVS is holding the trademark. And that's what he needs to be saying. Just, hey man, I'm holding this for you guys. Like, I don't own Comicsgate. Like, we bought it out of necessity, but I'm holding it. That's it. It's like, whoever wants to come in.
Once again, that's in the weeds. That's in the weeds.
It's important. It's
That's
important to lay out the
not what we should be doing in
foundation,
conversation.
but it's important to lay out the foundation to know where
Well,
have
the
you been. And,
foundation's not that. See, that's one of the problems.
well,
See,
if
that's
it's
one of the
not that,
problems.
then
That's not the foundation.
okay.
No,
Eh,
it's not the foundation. No, the foundation is people like Von Stur, people like Sweetcast. People. What is his name? Clint Stoker. People that have that were completely from outside, and it was like the mainstream guys were like mentoring them, and in like encouraging people to, this looks good. Uh, this could be better. If you want a professional looking comic book, this is how you get there. And a lot of the guys that I'm seeing under 10K, that aren't doing these six-figure campaigns, a lot of people that are on Fun My Comic. Have you seen some of the comics that are on Fun My Comic right now? It's amazing. But the thing that it was supposed to be, and it's not supposed to be an extension of anybody. It's not supposed to be a fan group of anybody. What it's supposed to be, and if we are going to break away from the current paradigm, is we've got to define it for what it is. And for what it is people who love comics making comics.
Absolutely.
And the right way, the way we remember them best. The golden age, whenever that is. What's your golden age, Will? What's your favorite age of comics?
Bronze.
That's about when would that be?
Late
Kirby?
60s, early 70s, up to like the mid 80s. Yeah.
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
early Marvel, when Marvel. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm an early Marvel Steve Ditko guy for sure.
Yeah, what was good about that was these people. There's once upon a time nobody knew who Spider-Man was. Once upon a time, somebody, Marvel, this whole Marvel thing happened because some crazy wacky guy named Stanley Uris suddenly decided that, I don't like these DC, I don't like these gods among men kind of like style superheroes. What I want is the hero that's right outside your door. I want a hero who can do some of the things that Superman can do, but can't pay his rent. I want somebody relatable and somebody likable. And but when he started that up, Marvel was tiny. Marvel just came. It changed from Timely Comics, and they changed the name to Marvel, and it was just one among many. Comics at one point had a whole bunch of, and then suddenly DC started consolidating a whole bunch of comic book companies, and then this little upstart comic book company suddenly found a formula that was different from what DC was doing, and carve out their own niche, and then swallowed up a whole bunch of other companies. I mean, that's just the way it is. But at one point they were on the ground floor. At one point, that Marvel ideal, that whole formula didn't exist, and until they started putting these comic books out, and people were kind of like, I have an anger problem. That Bruce Banner, that kind of Hulk thing. I feel like I Hulk out sometimes, and it's just great characters, great writing, great premises, and it all started from people like when this guy started up. Nobody knew who Jack Kirby was. Jack Kirby was just a veteran that was like doing magazines and stuff like that. Nobody knew King Kirby. He wasn't King Kirby at that time. He was just some guy. And what Comicsgate was supposed to be was it was supposed to be that moment in time where, this old paradigm is not working anymore. This is like dying out. It's become bloated. It's become a parody of itself. And the only way is to find something new and go forward with that. And that's what it was supposed to be. And what it became was that the whole bloated industry, the industry that became what it became, just basically infiltrated and became that. Now it's indistinguishable. It's become indistinguishable from something. It became from something new, from something truly unique, unique voices, people we've never seen before, never heard before. These people coming out of Brazil that can't get jobs at Marvel Comics, but they're making amazing comics and the great exchange rate. And we're people like Jose Garcia. Nobody saw anything like Jose Garcia, and that guy is incredible. He's I can tell his art from a mile away. And it's just like we're in the embryonic stage of a new industry, of a new movement. That's what it was supposed to be. And
I look at it.
It was
I
like,
look at it this way: is I agree with what you're saying, and to add to it, my whole concept of Comicsgate, to make it like a really I think this is a pretty good metaphor. It's like it's like the most massive fun farmers market you've ever been to in your life. And it's like you go there, everybody's got all the stuff you want. Everybody can pull up a booth. You can pull up a booth to Comicsgate. You can sell your wares. You can do your thing, and this is where I kind of get annoyed when people start talking about other creators. It's like, okay, Ethan's got the biggest. He was able to buy three, with $60. He bought three $20 freaking spots at the farmer's market. But guess what? It is what it is. He's here. He's selling. So now you sell. And so it's like, and that's where I get annoyed, because it's like, a lot of these people, it's like they're looking left and right and like arguing with those guys. It's like, no, the industry out there. That's why we have the farmer's market, because you can't buy this stuff anywhere. And so it's like, that's where I look at it. It's like, it's a blessed opportunity. But I look at it right now. It's like Mutiny is just us, like, purifying the thing, returning it back to what it was. It's like, hey, and in addition to making it what it was, what did we miss from last time? We can look outside and we can see Iron Age. We can see Rippaverse. What are they doing wrong? It's like, we have that conversation amongst ourselves. So then we can turn around and say, well, he's messing this up. He's messing that up. And it's like, do I want to tell him that? It's like, hey, man, if you want to keep doing what you're doing and you don't want to listen, then, hey, man, do your thing. Just 1 second.
well, one of the things that I think we definitely need to do is we just need to, not go back, but we need to like call it what it's supposed to be. We need to like just clarify what it's supposed to be, because what keeps happening over and over again is this is basically, it's like it's this, but functionally it's something else entirely that's almost antithetical to what it says it's supposed to be. And maybe what it was at the beginning, farmer's market, but now it's become a super highway to Walmart. You know, the mom and pop store is on this road, and they built a super highway to a Walmart, and so the mom and pops shops are basically over here, you know, and it's like the road doesn't pass by us anymore, you know, unless we reinvent what we're supposed to be doing, you know, and we become, you know, it's like you see this you see this happening all the time where there's a small town that used to be like on the main throughway, and then they built a super highway, and then all the traffic went away from it. But what do? They go in here, like we have a town near me called McAdenville. Have you ever heard of McAdenville?
Nope.
Okay, if you look it up, it's called the Christmas town, and they have more lights per square inch than anywhere else on the planet. And it started out with just a small neighborhood. They all got together. They started like decorating their houses, and then it spread to the whole town. And now like you'll drive by there where the town turn off to McAdenville, and you'll see lights like as far as the eye can see from people just driving through there, and you can see it. You can see the city off in the distance because it looks like some, you know, the corona is just incredible. And what happened was the industry went away from them, the road went away from them, and they're supposed to die. And yet what did they do? They reinvented themselves and became something different. And they kind of reinvented what they are. And they basically reinvigorated their town, because some people say it's too commercial now. You know, it's not as organic as it was, but still, that's what they're known for. And around here, you say McAdenville, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I love the lights." You know, I went through there, you know, last year or something like that. And what happened was they focused in on, it's like, okay, what do we need? We need foot traffic. We need interest into our area. And so this is how we get there. And I what's up, Wolf Flair? He always shows up the last minute. Goodness gracious. Anyway, so all I'm saying is we just need to get back to the thing that we're all here for, and that is to have a future in the comic book industry. And right now, the people who are curating it, the people who had custodial, you know, of the comic book industry, have pretty much abused it. You know, they're abusive, and they need to, you know, we can't take the kids away from them. You know, but you know, it's pretty much it's not coming back from where they put it, where they took it. It's just not coming back, and they just keep doubling down. And the only way the comics are going to exist from this point forward in America, or at least American Western style comics, is if we get our heads out of our butt and we become that apparatus, you know, that replacement apparatus that, you know, we become the industry. And the only way it's going to happen is if we stop like sniping at each other long enough, working close enough to each other, that that, you know, we fight the real power. And the real power is not the mainstream, it's not leftist. The real thing we're fighting against is obsolescence, is the death of the art form, is you know, it's comics. Western comics is in danger of becoming disco. You know.
But the beauty when you look at when you look at this stuff like manga, for example, it's kind of funny because people are like, I don't understand it. Why is manga so good? It's like, because you have individual creators. I mean, take a step back and look at like what exactly is Viz? What exactly is Shonen Jump? It's a distribution channel. It's a platform, much like FMC or Indiegogo. And it's like when people say manga, kind of like just a general term, like all those, DBZ, One Punch Man, Demon Slayer, they're all owned by their creators. They live and die by those creators. And so it's like when people are like, well, we got to compete with manga. It's like, yeah, we're becoming manga in the best sense. It's like, hey, the creator owns everything. He's in charge. He's steering the ship. And we're trying to make the best stuff possible for everybody else. And the big thing I wanted to the reason I was kind of setting up that beginning stuff I was talking about is because I think right now is like everybody keeps talking about what was or what could be instead of like what we can do right now. You know what I mean? And so like, oh, the comics industry is hurting, like what's missing? Well, everything's gone through the superhero lens. Everything is through the prism of superheroes, and superheroes are dope. Don't get me wrong. But it's like, you see it now, it's become like a caricature of itself where people use story and comic tropes because comic stories have been done the same way for so long. It's like, what's the last great, I had to Google, when was the last great high selling mystery comic book? You have to go into the early 60s and 70s. It's like, mystery. And I mean, there's a reason DC Comics titles used to be action comics, detective comics, police comics, House of Mystery, sensational stories. That's where Wonder Woman comes from. They were all genre. And the whole point of this is not to say, because I think where we're getting in the weeds here is that we kind of get lost in the possibilities instead of building that foundation first of like, what is this? Like when we talk about mutiny, what are we talking about? It's like we're talking about a mutiny against artistic oppression in the mainstream. And so we are going to show what free and independent creators, if they can work together long enough to put out their best works and motivate each other, steel sharpening steel, if you will. And that's why I say it's high time for a mutiny, because it's like everybody wants to recreate DC Comics. Everybody's trying to recreate the new Image, the new Marvel, instead of like, no, actually, like Viz has the most proven model. It's like, make the platform, let all the creators flood in, the best will rise, the rest will still sell, but they're not going to be at the prominence. But maybe it's because that's not the right story. It's kind of like the guy who made Hunter x Hunter. His first book was a dud. But then it's like, but then he could have sat on his laurels and been like, oh, the industry sucks. They hate me. It's all a bunch of crap. But no, he turned around and said, no, there's something wrong with this story. I need to do it in a different way. And when you go read it.
Why check the private chat real quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, take it down about halfway, please. Yeah, anyway. But anyway, so what do you think, Will?
Well, I think right now in this corner, there's too many chiefs and not enough Indians.
Yeah.
Flip out the word chiefs for egos.
Yeah.
Check. Am I good now?
Yeah, that's better.
Would have been better.
Appreciate
Would have been better if you told me, because I was like, I went to go in there and it booted me. the StreamYards booted me. I was like, what's going on?
No problem.
I'm sorry, Matt. Wow, I probably blew you guys' eardrums out. My bad.
That's fine. That's fine. Anyway,
They're only
Yeah.
eardrums, right?
they're only eardrum.
What?
One thing that Will said, he said that there's too many chiefs and not enough, or there's too many egos and not enough Indians. And I agree with that.
Well, and I think that comes from not everybody having a distinguished lane.
Mm.
Now, this is where I'll get on the pros, because it's cool. You can have an opinion. You can be a review guy,
Mhm.
but you can't be everything. You can't be the artist and the review guy and the expert and the promoter and the showcase. It's like you gotta let people specialize. There are some people who are way better at criticizing books, like Lit Dev, like Dick Masterson. I mean,
No,
give me
not Dick.
this. Give
Not
me
Dick.
this.
No, I'm not
Give
giving
me
you Dick.
this. Hold on,
I'm
hold
not
on, hold
giving
on.
you Dick. No, we'll switch him out for Chemo.
Whoa, whoa.
We'll
Yeah,
switch him.
pause on that. No, what I'm saying is that whether you like him or not, Dick roasting Eric July was hilarious.
Yeah,
It was hilarious.
I
And
don't
it's
think
like
it was
it's like
helpful, though. I don't.
now
think it
was he doing like a deep dive, like high thinking, like this is my like in-depth analysis of ISOM? No, he was just doing some hecklers bullshit. But what I'm saying is like Ethan kind of took that from him when he built Trashcast, because it's like you took that whole lane. And I saw there was a video where there was another more big Republican comedian who was like, "Hey Dick, looks like Van Sciver stole your whole gig, didn't he?" And he's kind of like, you see him wince his teeth. He's like, "Yeah, he kind of did." and my point being is that, like, can Ethan Van Sciver do as good as what Dick Masterson does? Probably not. I'm going to be so bold as to say he's probably not as good of a heckler as the heckler in chief, that guy. But
I will say this though. I don't think that's. I think you do have a point there, but I don't think it has anything to do with Ethan and those guys. I really don't think that they're even jejune to this conversation, to be honest.
Look at Mike Partico. He was trying to do deep dives on comics, and it's like, they didn't really give him much oxygen, because then he started. Well, it was like, oh, it's all great. You're going to review ISOM books and you're going to bash the crap out of him. Oh, now he's going to read a Cyberfrog book. Where is he?
Right. Well, he got canceled. That's what happened to him.
But my point is that it's like letting Comicsgate be that big open farmers market where anybody can do what they're doing, and then everybody gets to sell. It's like that's the ideal. It's like we need that. We need people who criticize the crap out of comics, and it's like if they're good, you got to elevate those guys. It's like, you can't throw rocks at Critical Drinker if we can't make our own Critical Drinker, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, if we have one, it's like, why go to Critical Drinker? We got one right here. He's better. He does it better. And I think that they don't incentivize that. It's like, oh, if you're not a creator, you're nobody. No, if you're a great critic, that's awesome. Like, that's a leadership position in and of itself. If you're a freaking hilarious dude and you can do comedy comic books, that's a whole other lane. And it's like, everybody keeps thinking, no, if I'm not doing what the kings are doing, then, and it's like when everybody's running the same direction, the group, it's diminishing returns. It's like all the overlap is all the same, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Am I still too loud?
Well, yeah, you're way too loud.
It probably comes from trying to eat food and talk at the same time.
Yeah, probably a little bit. Anyway, but that's okay. We're gonna pretty much wrap it up pretty quick here. But I do think that the conversations need to happen, and we need to refocus. We need to figure out what we're doing here, and we can't do that if everybody's afraid to say the emperor has no clothes. And either side, if you want to call it, one side or the other, and until we are able to just call a spade and just call balls and strikes and just say what the real issues are, then it's gonna continue to deteriorate, and we're not gonna get anything out of it. And I think right now my biggest ray of sunshine is FMC. What they're doing at FMC is I really honestly think that that's the most positive thing that we've got going right now, and that'd be a great place for us to focus around and to rally around and to build something. And I really hope that, I mean, lately it's been taking a lot of, like, people been taking shots at it because it doesn't have some of the options that Kickstarter or Indiegogo has, but it has free speech and you don't get shadow banned, and it actually has customer service, and they're actually listening to people, and it's only going to get better. But I honestly think that we just need to start having these conversations, and stop being afraid to have these conversations. And if you get canceled, you get canceled. But if the emperor has no clothes, call it out. And that's anybody. The only way we're going to get anywhere is if we stop having a hierarchy. If we start, like, raising these people up here and saying that they're, that we don't have the right to say anything to them, or don't have a right to criticize. And the whole thing, the whole entire movement was all about when it was at its strongest, when it was actually making headway, when it was actually moving in the right direction, was when there was no hierarchy, when everybody was rooting for each other, everybody's cooperating with each other, and everybody's pushing each other. And we didn't have, like, this star-studded, hero culture that has just completely, totally paralyzed us. And that's anybody that comes in, and this is a good topic right here. I mean, this is a real good ending statement I'm going to make. Thank you, Wookie. When the kings fall, the peasants just wish he spelled better, but that's a pretty good statement. Anyway.
Wookiees can't spell.
No, he can't spell. He can't spell. He's probably eating right now anyway. He's always eating. Anyway, just so for fans of this channel, we're moving Cryptids and Conspiracies to tomorrow night at 7, and we're doing Loch Ness Monster because everybody's got plans over the weekend, and we're not going to be able to get together otherwise. And so that's going to be tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. We're going to have an actual Scotsman that's been to Loch Ness. He probably won't be able to tell us anything because, he's probably gaming. But anyway, so that's going to be tomorrow, and tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Thank you for Wyatt for coming on. Wyatt, you need to get your own show, dude. You every time you come on my show, you got a whole bunch to say, and you don't have a lot of space. I don't have the space to let you say it. So,
no, man, it's not a big deal. It's just
really
like, I think the thing is I think if we could, I mean, I don't know, you guys down to go like another hour? Because I mean, I feel like Will's got a lot that he wants to expound on, and I mean, all right, man. Yeah, that's no problem.
I can't go another hour. I can't go an hour. That's what I'm
buddy.
saying. But we're
he's already missed his beauty sleep. Can't you tell?
Yeah, seriously. Anyway, I'm not going to dox him, but he's got a hard job. Pray for him. Anyway, Wyatt needs a channel. Yep, he does need a channel. You got a lot to say, dude. You know, you need to.
Well, I'm sorry. The volume is like I don't know when I sign. Like I literally have my volume like it is at 12% right now, and I don't know if I'm still too loud.
No problem. Yeah, you're
No, I
better
mean,
than you
am I
were.
too loud right now? Like I'm trying to dial it in, like literally.
Yeah, you're still pretty loud. If you can like take it down about a quarter from that.
How about now?
I think you'd be better. Yeah, that's better. That's better. That'll work.
Literally 2%.
Anyway, I guess that's your sweet spot. I don't know.
These Google phones
anyway,
are super loud.
There you go. But anyway, so Will, you want to promote your channel right quick?
Yeah, I got a couple of shows coming up. Most notably, a week from Saturday, I'm going to have Christopher from Global Comics on, and we're going to do some diving around all the new stuff that they've got going on. And I've been having a blast because I can read a whole bunch of
my comic and Global Comic. Yeah, it's Fun My Comic and Global Comics. Yeah, they're right. They're
Global Comics is kind of like Netflix for comic books. It's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Great model. They've got a great model. And they're a free speech platform too, like FMC. So yeah, support Global Comics, support FMC. That's their hope for the future. That's my biggest takeaway from tonight. Anyway, I've got FMC pinned to the chat, so just go over there and check it out. Anyway, that's been cool for Telepathic Bunny Comics. Thank you to Creators Outlet. Thank you to Wyatt for showing up. Thank you for my the greatest, fluffiest chat and all of you too. And we will see you next time tomorrow night, 7:00. Cryptids and Conspiracies. Where we will talk about the Loch Ness Monster, whether it's somebody that lives near the Loch Ness. So that'd be interesting. Anyway, it's gonna be tomorrow night, and we'll see you later, everybody. Follow the White Rabbit. Bye, everybody. Thanks for coming, Wyatt.